Can a team full of players that have been suspended from the NHL go on and win a Stanley Cup together here in NHL 24? Honestly, I don't have those answers, but the good news is we will be finding that out here in today's video, as I have created a team full of players that have been either suspended or fined from the NHL. Now, at first, I only went with the suspended players, but I mean, the only really great players were Matthew Tkachuk, Connor McDavid, and Cale Makar. So I also did the players that have been fined from the NHL, and it really rounds out our roster a lot better than it was before. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Alabama suspensions, see how good they are here in NHL 24. So overall, we have a very good team. On our first line, it's absolutely stacked with Kirill Kaprizov, Connor McDavid, and Matthew Tkachuk. A 93, 97, and 92 overall. On the second line, we have Jeff Skinner, Nick Suzuki, and Clayton Keller. Our third line consists of Tom Wilson, Dylan Larkin, and Tomas Hertl. And our fourth line is Mason Marchment, John Tavares, and Josh Anderson. That is a very, very good forward core. I will be shocked if we do not win a Stanley Cup. Now, defensively, we also are very good. Our best defender is Cale Makar at a 95 overall. We have Mikhail Sergachev, Darnell Nurse, Eric Chernak, Keandre Miller, and Alexander Romanov. Overall is a pretty good D-core. Now, for our goalie, obviously, our starting goalie is going to be Jordan Binnington, the absolute menace. 86 overall, and our backup will be Marc-Andre Fleury, because technically he did get suspended for missing the All-Star game back in 2020. Or at least he was supposed to. I don't even know, honestly. I can't remember. I was just reading on Google. I was doing my homework for this video. But there it is. There is the roster of players who have been suspended and fined. Yes, McDavid got suspended for, I believe, a hit from behind a couple years ago in like 2019 or something like that. But there is our roster. We are going to go ahead and see if this team can win a Stanley Cup. Now, if we don't win a Stanley Cup within 5 years, then we are going to end up failing the challenge. But overall, I do believe this team is good enough to get that done. Before we go ahead with the simulation, if you guys do enjoy videos like this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss a single live stream or video that I put out. Now, at the end of our very first season, the Alabama suspensions are going to finish as the best team in the NHL. We went 54, 24, and 4. Good enough for 112 points at the top of the Pacific. Now, at the end of season number 1, the Alabama suspensions are going to have a very good regular season. We went 54, 24, and 4. Good enough for 112 points at the top of the Pacific and top of the entire NHL. Followed by the LA Kings, who were very good. New Jersey was up there. Dallas, Seattle, the Rangers, and Florida. Now, at the bottom, we pretty much know the teams that are going to be down here. I mean, we got Montreal, San Jose, Vegas. Boston was surprisingly very bad. Only 37 wins, finishing like bottom 4 in the entire league. That is surprising. I've never seen that happen before. Connor McDavid is going to lead our team in goals with 44 and points with 89, followed by Cale Makar's 81. Kirill Kaprizov had 78. Dylan Larkin, 76. Matthew Tkachuk had a pretty good season. Jeff Skinner had 63. Clayton Keller was up there. Tom Wilson is going to do his thing. I mean, for the goals on our team, it was kind of carried by McDavid with 44. Jeff Skinner did have 35. Larkin 31. And in goal, Jordan Binnington went 40, 22, and 4. 6 shutouts, and not really the greatest stats. Now for the entire NHL, the Edmonton Oilers, McDavid is going to lead in points with 109, followed by Patrick Kane's 108. Draisaitl had 106. Matthews 105. Nylander was up there. Forsberg was pretty good. Zuccarello had a 100-point season, as well as Sam Reinhart. Now for the goal side, Kirill Kaprizov will lead with 54 goals on the season, followed by Matthews 53. Rantanen had 52. Ovi 51. Draisaitl had 50. Kucherov Bedard was up there as a rookie with 49 tucks on the season. I do not believe Jordan Binnington was that great for wins. He was up there with 40, but the most was Vanacek, who had 43. And for shutouts, Jacob Markstrom and Connor Hellebuck are going to tie for the lead at 8. The good thing is Binnington was up there with 6. I mean, that's a lot of shutouts for a season. It's just that his stats were not really the greatest, honestly. He was either shutting out the opponent or allowing like 4 or 5 goals a game, pretty much. And in the very first round of the playoffs, we are up against the Calgary Flames, who we would end up beating in 5 games in the very first round. Now we are up against the Seattle Kraken in round number 2. And we are going to end up beating them as well in 5 games in the second round, off to the conference finals now, who we will play the Dallas Stars. So we are 4 wins away from the Stanley Cup final here in year number 1. And just like that, in season number 1, we have made the Stanley Cup finals up against the New York Rangers, who we know simulate very well in this game. Now, if we do end up winning this, I'll probably just see how many we can win in 5 years. But let's see if we can go on and only take us one season to win a Stanley Cup here in NHL 24. And in their very first season together, the Alabama Suspensions will get it done as we dominated the Rangers in 5 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. It was not even close. And while the NHL can have their money, they can shove it up their ass because these players who have been wrongfully suspended, nah, I'm just kidding. Most of these guys were probably suspended for pretty good reasons, but regardless, they are going to get it done. Gary Bettman's worst nightmare, every suspended player winning the Stanley Cup, as Jordan Binnington is going to win the Conn Smythe with a .934 save percentage. And Jordan Binnington does not even have a face scan yet, which is kind of surprising, honestly. I thought he would have one. But there it is, the Stanley Cup about to be raised on home ice for the Alabama Suspensions, as it literally has only taken them 1 year to win it. As here comes our captain, Connor McDavid, coming to lift the cup for the very first time in his career, as the Alabama Suspensions have got it done here in season number 1. We're Stanley Cup champions, baby. Now for the playoffs, Kirill Kaprizov is going to lead our team in goals with 12 and points with 25, followed by Cale Makar, who did have 21, Tkachuk had 20, McDavid 20, John Tavares only 14. It kind of falls off after that. Jordan Binnington, man, I did not expect this. 16, 5 and 1, 3 shutouts, a .934 save percentage, and a .204 GAA. So he's an 86 overall, right? Now, I'm a goalie and be a pro, a 93 overall elite goaltender, Pekka Pasta, and I simulate like absolute straight garbage. But an 86 overall, Jordan Binnington is going to put up a goddamn .934 save percentage in the playoffs. But yet, look at me. I'm rocking what, like an .878 save percentage? As a 93 overall goaltender. Please explain it, EA, please. Patrick Kane is going to take on the Ted Lindsay and the Hart Trophy, the Art Ross to McDavid, and Maurice Richard to Kaprizov. The Norris will go to R. Cale Makar, and the Conn Smythe as well to Jordan Binnington. Igor Shesterkin is going to win the Vezina, and the Selke somehow is going to go to Austin Matthews. Now for the rest of the video, we are going to slightly change it a little bit, as I'm going to see how many Stanley Cups we can win in 5 years with this team. I honestly did not expect to win it in year number 1, so that was a surprise to me. But let's see how many we can get in 5 years. We gone 1 for 1 so far, and so far so good in the regular season, as we went 61, 17, and 4, 126 points. Obviously the best in our division and the best in the entire NHL. We definitely have the best roster, that is for sure. The Pittsburgh Penguins were up there. Winnipeg was good. Vegas had 47 wins. Toronto had 48, and Carolina was up there as well. Now at the bottom, we have the San Jose Sharks, New York Rangers, who literally made the Stanley Cup Finals last season, and the sad Chicago Blackhawks, who outside of Connor Bedard have maybe one of the worst teams in NHL history. Now yet again, Connor McDavid is going to lead our team with 48 goals and 117 points, followed by Cale Makar, who did have 106, Kaprizov 102, and Matthew Tkachuk had 100. So we had 4 100-point scorers on our team this season, which is pretty insane. Dylan Larkin had 91 points. Clayton Keller had a decent season, I guess, only 66. Jeff Skinner, 61. Tomas Hertl, 55. On the goal side, we had a lot of goals scored. I mean, McDavid had 48. Tkachuk, 43. Kaprizov, 41. Dylan Larkin had 33. Skinner, 26. And of course, Jordan Binnington went 46, 16, and 3. 6 shutouts and not great stats as well, but we know he turns it up in the playoffs. Connor McDavid is going to lead the entire NHL in scoring with 117, followed by Matthews, 115. Kucherov had 112, Makar 106, Sidney Crosby was up there, Braden Point, Tage Thompson, who is really struggling in real life this season. He's fallen off a cliff compared to last year. Erik Karlsson had a very good year as well. Now for the goals in the NHL, Kucherov is going to lead with 59, followed by Ovi's 56, Matthews 54, Kyle Connor was up there, Pasta had 51, and Jordan Binnington will lead all goalies and wins with 46, followed by Hellebuck's 44, Jake Ottinger had 44, as well as Tristan Jarry. And for the shutout side, Joey Decord is going to lead with 7, an 83 overall goaltender. Binnington did have 6 though. Ingram was up there with 5. The other Binnington had 4. And in the first round of the playoffs, we are up against the Vancouver Canucks, and we would end up beating Vancouver in 6 games. Now we are up against the LA Kings in round number 2. We would finish them off in 5 games, pause, but we did. And now in the conference finals, we have the Winnipeg Jets. And just like that, we are back in the Stanley Cup Finals, this time up against the Detroit Red Wings, who do not simulate near as good as the Rangers do, so I am expecting another Stanley Cup victory. So let's go ahead and see if we can do that. If we can go 2 for 2, winning 2 straight Stanley Cups to start the video. And for back-to-back seasons, we are going to take home the Stanley Cup as we beat the Red Wings in 6 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. And to start the video, we are 2 for 2. We might actually end up going 5 for 5, which I didn't even understand, or I didn't realize that was even possible with this team. But I guess we are that good of a team as we go ahead and win our 2nd straight Stanley Cup to start the video. I mean, the Red Wings really weren't that much of a challenge, honestly, but the Conn Smythe will go to Matthew Tkachuk. 12 goals and 28 points for him. A very good playoff run, so congratulations. Got to do something about that hair, though. It's a little too nappy for me. And there is the Stanley Cup being raised in Detroit. Hopefully, we do not get shot up as we are trying to lift the cup, because we know Detroit, not the murder capital of the USA. I believe that's St. Louis, but there is a lot of murders that go on. Regardless, here is McDavid coming to lift the Stanley Cup for the 2nd straight season as the Alabama suspensions have started off 2 for 2. Winning back-to-back Stanley Cups. Now, in the playoffs, Matthew Tkachuk is going to lead our team. He had 12 goals and 28 points. Connor McDavid had 27. Kaprizov, 26. Dylan Larkin had a good playoff run, as well as Cale Makar, who had 20. Tom Wilson had 5 goals and 18 points. And Binnington would go 16, 6, and 2. 1 shutout, and pretty okay stats, I guess. Nothing crazy, but not terrible either. McDavid will take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. Kucherov is going to win the Maurice Richard, then Norris to Cale Makar. Matthew Tkachuk will take home the Conn Smythe, Aiden Hill, the Vezina, and the Selke again is going to go to Matthews. I swear they must have did something with Matthews over an update, because he never won Selke trophies in NHL 24. Now, at the end of the 3rd season, again, we are going to be the best team in our division as we went 51, 25, and 6, 108 points. And for the entire NHL, only the Colorado Avalanche were better as they went 52, 24, and 6. So very, very similar records overall. The Minnesota Wild were up here. Vancouver was good. Tampa Bay, Boston, Carolina, the Pittsburgh Penguins as well. Again, Connor McDavid's going to lead our team. He had 53 goals and 112 points, followed by Kaprizov's 99. Tkachuk had 95. Makar was up there with 75. Clayton Keller had a pretty good season, although he somehow was a minus 13. Dylan Larkin at 61. Jeff Skinner, Suzuki, John Tavares has been very quiet. I mean, he's only an 86 overall. And in goal, Binnington will go 36, 19, and 5. 4 shutouts, and again, not the greatest stats in the regular season. I guess he's more of a playoff goalie. Austin Matthews is going to go ahead and lead the entire NHL in goal scoring with 69 goals and points with 122, followed by McKinnon's 120. Marner had 115. Nylander 113. McDavid 112. Marchand was up there. Crosby still kicking it with 103. Now on the goal side, other than Matthews, Kucherov had the most at 56, followed by McKinnon's 54, Rantanen 54, McDavid, of course, 53. And that is going to do it for the 50-goal scorers in the NHL. Jack Eichel actually had a very good season. Ville Husso is going to tie Freddie Anderson and Thatcher Demko, as well as Tristan Jarry for the most wins at 38. And for the most shutouts in the NHL, it will go to Thatcher Demko and Tristan Jarry, who tied at 6. In the first round of the playoffs, we are up against the LA Kings, and somehow we are actually going to lose our very first playoff series as the LA Kings beat us in Game 7 of the very first round. I gotta be honest, that is very disappointing. I did not expect that. I expected to lose maybe in the 2nd or even 3rd round, but in the first round to the LA Kings, come on, boys. And for the cherry on top, the Vancouver Canucks are going to go on and win the Stanley Cup as a revenge over 2011 over the Bruins. They beat them in 6 games now in the finals. I mean, we didn't really have much of a playoff run, only 7 games, but Kaprizov will lead us with 5 goals and 10 points. McDavid had 8, Dylan Larkin 8, Cale Makar 7, and Tomas Hertl 6. Now, Jordan Binnington 3 and 4. Yeah, he was not very good whatsoever. Austin Matthews going to take home all the individual awards. Cale Makar is going to win the Norris. The Conn Smythe will go to JT Miller. Demko is going to take home the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Matthews. The Alabama suspensions are going to continue their regular season dominance. We went 16, 18, and 4, 124 points at the top of our division and the entire NHL, followed by the Colorado Avalanche, who won 53 games. Dallas was up there, New Jersey, Minnesota, and Buffalo. Now, finally, a new player is going to lead our team, Kirill Kaprizov, 45 goals and 110 points, followed by McDavid's 102 and also 42 goals. Matthew Tkachuk had 84. Cale Makar was up there with 76. Keller had 70. Larkin 68. Suzuki had a pretty good season for his standards. Skinner had 63. And for Jordan Binnington, he went 44, 13, and 4. 4 shutouts and pretty good stats overall. I can't really complain. Now for the entire NHL, Nikita Kucherov is going to lead in goals with 60 and points with 116, followed by Kaprizov and Kaprizov. Jack Hughes had 107. Robertson was up there with 102. McDavid, of course, is always going to be good. Bedard had 99 points. Now on the goal side, other than Kucherov, Kaprizov had 58. Bedard 57, damn near 60 goals as an 18-year-old is literally insane. Robertson at 56, Matthews 50, Laine 49, Jack Hughes 47, Kyle Connor 47, and Jordan Binnington will lead in wins with 44. And for the shutout side, it's going to go to Ilya Sorokin and Connor Hellebuyck, who tied at 5 shutouts apiece. Yet again in the first round, we are going to go up against the Vancouver Canucks, and yet again we are back in the Stanley Cup Finals, this time up against Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins. So let's see if we can go on and win our 3rd Stanley Cup of the video. And the Alabama Suspension's dominance will continue as we capture our 3rd Stanley Cup in 4 seasons by defeating the Penguins in, I believe, 5 games in the finals. I don't think it was actually, no, it might have been a sweep. I think it was a clean sweep. We absolutely dominated that old retirement home of the Pittsburgh Penguins, and we win our 4th Stanley Cup of the video. We still have 1 more year left, so we could actually, no, we win our 3rd Stanley Cup in 4 years. As the Conn Smythe is going to go to Nick Suzuki, 7 goals and 25 points. A very surprising Conn Smythe winner, but nonetheless, congratulations. Let's see if we can go 4 for 5, boys. We do have 1 more year left, and I'm pretty confident that we can get it done as we've pretty much dominated throughout the entire video. As Mr. Connor McDaddy will come and lift it for the 3rd time in his NHL career, as the Alabama Suspensions have gone all the way yet again. Now for the playoffs, Kirill Kaprizov, I don't know how he did not win the Conn Smythe. 16 goals, 27 points. McDavid had 10 goals and 26 points. Suzuki had 25. Clayton Keller was up there. Cale Makar had a good playoff run as well as Matthew Tkachuk. Minnesota's Kaprizov is going to take home the Ted Lindsay and the Hart Trophy, while the Art Ross and Maurice Richard will go to Kucherov. The Norris to Cale Makar. The Conn Smythe to Nick Suzuki. Binnington will actually somehow win the Vezina, and the Selke is going to go to Matthews yet again. Now at the end of the 5th and final season, the Suspensions are going to go on and be the best team in the Pacific. We went 53, 27, and 2, and we were the best team, and not in the entire NHL, but the 2nd best team. I had you in the first half, don't even lie, as Colorado will be the only team better than us, 3 more points, followed by the Red Wings, who had 50 wins. Buffalo also somehow had 50. Boston was up there, Minnesota, Toronto, and Dallas. Connor McDavid is going to lead our team in goals with 43 and points with 101, followed by Kaprizov's 92. Makar had 87. Tkachuk 75. Dylan Larkin was up there. Jeff Skinner had 60 points, also 28 goals. Clayton Keller 57. Suzuki had a pretty good season. Now for Binnington, he went 44, 17, and 2. 3 shutouts and not really the greatest stats, honestly. Now for the entire NHL, Matthews is going to lead in goals with 57 and points with 109. Mitch Marner had 106. Tage Thompson was up there with 104. Draisaitl, Nylander, McDavid, and McDavid all had 100-point seasons, as well as Johnny Hockey. For the goals side, Ovi at 54. Jeff Skinner also at 54, which is very surprising. Patrick Laine 52. Jason Robertson 52. Bedard scored 50 as a rookie again. Now for goalies, Binnington's going to lead in wins with 44. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen had 41. Ville Husso 39. And for the shutout side, Aiden Hill is going to lead with 7 on the season. I don't really know if Jordan Binnington will end up winning the Vezina again. I mean, he didn't really have that great stats. And in the first round, we are up against the Nashville Predators. And again, for 4 out of the 5 seasons, we have made the Stanley Cup Finals. And this time, we are up against the Buffalo Sabres, who did win 50 games in the regular season. But let's see if we can go on and win our 4th Stanley Cup of the video, pretty much dominating every single season besides that 1 year that we lost in the very first round to the LA Kings. And the Suspensions have done it, winning their 4th title in 5 years, cementing themselves as one of the best dynasties in the entire NHL's history. I mean, we went back-to-back twice. In year number 3, we kind of messed up, losing in the first round. in Game 7 to the LA Kings, but outside of that, we would have won 5 straight. Honestly, I did not see this team being this good. McDavid will take home the Conn Smythe, though. 14 goals and 40 points on the season, or on the playoff run. That is absolutely insane. Nonetheless, we are the best dynasty probably in the NHL's history. The best 5-year stretch, at least. Here's McDavid coming to lift it for the 4th time in his career, 4th time in the video, as the Alabama suspensions are the greatest dynasty in the history of the NHL. Connor McDavid, of course, had an amazing playoff run, 14 goals and 40 points. Matthew Tkachuk had a pretty good one as well, 27. Kaprizov had 26. Cale Makar, 20. Dylan Larkin was a -2, but he did have 15 points. Clayton Keller was okay. And for Binnington, he went 15-4-0, 2 shutouts, and he was actually very good in the playoff run, so shout out to him. Matthews, again, is going to take home pretty much all the major individual awards. The Cale Makar, or the Norris, will go to Cale Makar. The Conn Smythe to McDavid, and the Vezina will go to UC Saros. And that is gonna do it for this video, boys. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We have gone ahead and we found out if a team full of suspended players could win a Stanley Cup. Not only could they win one, not 2, not 3, but 4 Stanley Cups in 5 years. Our only hiccup along the way was in year number 3 when we lost in Game 7, which was very unfortunate. But outside of that, we were absolutely dominant, by far the best team in the entire NHL. So let me know in the comments what you guys would like to see next. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.